Today we're going to talk about the downsides of PPF, paint protection film. Now you may install paint protection film on your car to prevent the car's paint from stone chips and scratches and all those butt guts and all those stuff. However, not everything comes with 100% positivity. There are some parts of paint protection film that just will not be pleasant to the eye after a couple of years or maybe even a couple of weeks if you drive your car regularly. Now, I put paint protection film on my car over here after I painted it because I don't like stone chips. Previously, when I painted this car and I didn't have paint protection film, the car was basically the bumper. You couldn't even see the paint. It was pretty much white of stone chips. That's how much stone chips there were. Because also this car is quite low to the ground, as you can see. So it scrapes and it's a stone magnet. So I decided to put paint protection film. Now this is not a sponsored video, but this paint protection film is Expel's Ultimate Plus. This does, don't get me wrong, it does protect the paint. Rocks will not go through this. Maybe if you go over 200 kilometers an hour, rocks just gonna like penetrate this and scratch your paint. But this paint protection film, I applied it on the car. Well, I installed it on the car about 5 years ago. And look at this. It's actually very, very smooth. There's not like, when your car gets stone chipped, it's very, very obvious. But this one, no, it's very, very smooth. However, the first downside is this over here. Now, look at this. This right here is from a larger piece of stone. This is one of the downsides of paint protection. Well, you could call it an upside also, as in like a positive side, because this protected my paint, which is what paint protection film is all about. However, this is to show you that paint protection film is not indestructible. A lot of people install paint protection film and think, oh, it's like this vibranium or whatever, titanium kind of protection that even the paint protection film will not get damaged. But look at this. I just drove maybe 100 kilometers an hour and a pickup truck kicked a stone, and look at that. It just cut through the paint protection film. I mean, because paint protection film, after all, it is just plastic. So you see, it just cuts through and it's very, very obvious from afar. You can still see it over there. So yes, it does prevent 99% of stone chips, maybe even 99.9%. But when there is one particular one that is large enough or sharp enough that it's gonna whack your car at an angle, you're gonna get this. I actually used some touch-up paint and some clear coat. Now here's another downside to PPF, particularly for the pre-cut PPFs. Look at this. If you don't get a good installer, they're gonna install it not nice, and at the edges, as you can see, dirt will start to collect, and it is very, very annoying. You can see it from a distance as well. You see, you can still see the, what you call that, the lines. So that is another downside of pre-cut PPF. As you can see how they cut. Yeah, this was not a good install at all, and this is actually from an authorized Expel branch. So yeah, looking at that, very, very bad install. Looking above the headlight over here as well, look at that. All the dirt is starting to stick. Usually PPF, when you install it, you gotta make sure that the installer tucks in the PPF, as in the PPF goes over and under the panel. That way you don't see lines like this. This is a horrible, horrible install, and I kind of regret doing this, but at the same time, I think I would regret more if I didn't have PPF, because lots of stone chips. But then again, you're still gonna get stone chips from PPF, just way less. Another downside would be if you want to remove this PPF to repaint your car. You're gonna remove this PPF and you might tear off your clear coat, and it may cause the painter to have more work to do, which maybe would increase the price of your paint job. Here is another PPF flaw. Look at this over here. See, sometimes at certain parts it'll start bubbling up. Yes, it is under warranty and I can bring it back to the installer, but that's just annoying and just time consuming, and I just wouldn't have my car for a couple hours. So yeah, this is also another downside of PPF. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not here to bash PPF. I actually like PPF because it protects my OCD, because if my car gets a stone chip like this for example, that's killing my OCD right there. But I mean, it could be worse without PPF. I mean, it will be worse without PPF. So don't get me wrong, I absolutely love PPF. When I repaint this car, I will definitely put PPF on as well. Look at this. Without PPF, you're gonna have lots of stone chips. Now these stone chips, I've already used touch-up paint, so they don't look as bad. But look at this. That is one stone chip right there that PPF would have prevented. More stone chips over here. Yeah, it's quite of an eyesore, but if you put PPF, it will be like this. But once this one is repainted, I would probably not put Expel because it's really expensive. I may try a cheaper brand of PPF in the future. Yes, I know cheaper brands of PPF, they do yellow, they do start to crack, they do start to peel after a while. But the thing is, these cars, I do not really bring them out in the sun or rain. So usually when the weather is nice at night, when it's cool, then I'll bring them out. So I think that would kind of help preserve the PPF longer as compared to driving out in the sun. If you're gonna drive out in the sun, in the rain, and face all the harsh stuff on the road, get a good brand of PPF. Other than that, I think PPF is something that every new car owner should put for their car, because I mean, if you get a new phone, you would put a screen protector, right? If you get a new car, which is like what, 20, 30, 40, 50 times the price of a phone, you're not gonna put protection on it? Just doesn't really make sense to me. So yeah, I say it again, don't get me wrong, I love PPF. I'm not bashing PPF. I just want to show you some of the possible downsides if you install PPF on your car, or if you go to a not so good installer. If you go to a good installer, it's gonna be perfect. You won't even see the PPF on the car. Look at this. My grill area, it's one piece, so you can clearly see the lines. Ah yes, this is the last part of PPF that I would say sucks, because once you put PPF and something happens underneath, because you can see over here, my paint is starting to bubble because the previous owner of this car actually screwed in the bumper. So there's a screw in here, and the paint shop put kind of like a cement over it and then painted over it, and that screw is causing the cement to crack. And I've already put PPF, so if I'm gonna have to, I mean, if I decide to fix that crack, I'm gonna have to rip off the entire bumper PPF, which is gonna be a pain. You cannot spot repair what's under a PPF, because if you peel this off, then this part is pretty much gone. So you might as well just peel off everything, because once it's peeled off, you cannot put it back. So to cover the crack, I put these two plastic bits, which is, yeah, that's another downside of PPF. You cannot repair what is under. I mean, that's pretty obvious. So guys, that is my PPF experience slash explanation as to whatever downsides it has. Again, don't get me wrong, I like PPF, just, yeah, it's better than without, but it's not indestructible. All right, so guys, that'll be it for today's video. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and comment down below if you have PPF on your car, or you just don't want PPF on your car, or you just don't care, or I don't know, just comment down below what your opinions are.